My name is Dominique Sikkema. I'm a 23-year-old student. At this moment, I'm also a swimmer, a public speaking coach here at Stanford University. And I was invited today to sit in this chair and ask him a couple of questions. So I'm going to take you back, let's say 2 years ago. I was this very happy, enthusiastic guy. I did so many different activities. First of all, I was a swimmer, so I did that for most of my week. I was in separate teams at my university, doing all kinds of different promotional activities, making sure that the open days were going fine. But also things that I hadn't done before, like actually exploring the different things in life, doing activities that were completely new to me. And that was basically who I was, enthusiastic, open, and basically always trying different things and open to new things. So basically 2 years ago is when I fell in love, like horribly bad in love. And with love comes a bunch of new people into your life. So at that point, I met so many new people. Think about family, new friends, and so many new people actually entered my life on that day. And at first of all, everything was going just great. I was still smiling, I was still having a lot of fun. People noticed about me that when I was in love, I had butterflies in my stomach, as I would say in the Netherlands. But then things started to change quite drastically. I stopped doing the things that I love doing the most, like actually exploring the better things in life. I stopped hanging out with my own friends. I went to the university as much as I should. And also swimming got a huge hit because something I did on a regular basis now basically turned out to 1 or 2 times a week, which for me was a huge issue because I love doing it so much. And it doesn't have to be bad at first because, you need new people, so it's kind of a usual process that maybe some of your former friends or surroundings might change or disappear in general. But for me, that was a huge issue because it was who I was. And by turning down so many different activities that I used to do, I basically was changing myself to the worse. Even kijken of ik het stukje onscreen. Ik ben nu echt aan het hakelen, zeg maar.
Dat is oké. Emotie is goed.
And looking back at that specific moment in my life, now afterwards I can say that things weren't going as they should have gone. Because I wasn't really supported in doing the things that I needed to do in my life. But at that point, my surroundings, without probably even intentionally trying to do so, made me feel like I wasn't supposed to be here at my university. That I wasn't supposed to be here at Leeuwarden. I've been they basically told me that this wasn't the place for me to be. This wasn't the place I had to live. Everything I did at this city, at this university and in my life was wrong. From the types of clothes I was wearing, from the specific activities I did, with the contact I had with my friends, but also the way I tried to develop my life. Everything was wrong, or I could at least improve upon. The moment I noticed that things were going completely out of my control came way too late. And I'm saying that because looking back at the situation, I can see that there were so many moments that I had to say stop. Because it isn't normal that you have to take in consideration each word you say. That you have to make sure that each word you're saying to someone has to be the right one, or otherwise you get yelled at. People try to break up with you. But it's not only about saying something, it's also about doing something. So the moment I actually woke up came at the end of 1.5 years. Someone tried to pick a fight with me. And I'm not meaning with my hands and feet. I mean someone entered my life in a pretty disturbing way. And at that point, I had basically the decision to either fight back, even though my odds of winning it were up to 80 or 90%. But it was at this point that I actually understood that if I would surrender this time and take my loss, that I would basically hurt that closest surroundings. But it would be better for the long term, and especially for me. Because when I was in this fight, and again, it's not with hands and feet, when I was in this fight with this person, I remembered or I started to understand the situation I was in before the start even happened. This fight was my opportunity to lay down my willingness to continue and accept the fact that everything wasn't going as planned. That I wasn't in this, that I wasn't going as planned. Was te bitter. Ik zit echt even te denken hoe dat goed moet verwoorden. It might hurt the new friends that I made and my loved one at that point. But if I would surrender at that point, at that moment, if I would surrender at that moment, this would also mean that I finally had the opportunity to escape from something that I felt locked down by. And in the end, in my opinion, everybody would turn out to be happy on the long run. It was quite a roller coaster. Because after I had surrendered to this so-called fight, things had to go downhill first. I had to go get some professional help with it, to deal with the situation, but also to understand what happened during that 1.5 years before that. Because things weren't as they were supposed to be. A man should not be held down and taking consideration every single word he speaks. And for me that was the case. Every turn I made, every word I said, I had to make sure it were the right ones. Otherwise I would have been mentally locked down. And that's what happened. And that's why I'm really happy that I surrendered to that fight. Because in the long run, it did benefit all of us. I completely changed afterwards. And the most important thing is something my friends actually told me. Because they finally saw me smiling again, which I hadn't done for over a year or so. What I learned during that time, and unfortunately I only discovered it after 1.5 years going through that. And I wish I understood that situation sooner. Well, what I learned about it is that you can't lock someone down. People need to do what they really want to do, because that is what makes them happy, that makes sure that they can continue doing it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm able to do the things I love doing the most. And that's why I'm actually smiling right now.